First contact. The sleek silver shuttle glided through the star-studded expanse of space, its lone passenger gazing out the viewport with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Zara Chen, a 19-year-old human from Earth, was about to become the first of her species to attend the prestigious Galactic University of Sciences and Arts, GUSA. As the shuttle approached the massive space station that housed GUSA, Zara's breath caught in her throat. The station was a marvel of alien engineering, a sprawling complex of interconnected domes and spires that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Iridescent force fields shimmered around the structure, protecting it from the harsh vacuum of space. Approaching docking bay, announced the shuttle's AI in a soothing voice. Please prepare for artificial gravity transition. Zara double-checked the straps of her safety harness, her heart pounding with anticipation. She had trained for months for this moment, but no amount of simulations could have prepared her for the reality of being the first human to set foot in an alien university. As the shuttle smoothly docked with the station, Zara gathered her courage and stood up. She straightened her GUSA uniform, a sleek jumpsuit made of a material that shimmered with an otherworldly iridescence. Taking a deep breath, she stepped towards the airlock. The door hissed open, revealing a welcoming committee unlike anything Zara had ever seen. A diverse group of alien beings stood before her, each more bizarre and fascinating than the last. At the forefront was a tall, willowy creature with shimmering, translucent skin and eyes that seemed to contain swirling galaxies. Welcome to the Galactic University of Sciences and Arts, Zara Chen of Earth, the being said, its voice a melodious hum that seemed to resonate in Zara's very bones. I am Chancellor Silo, and we are honored to have you as our first human student. Zara bowed respectfully, as she had been taught. Thank you, Chancellor Silo. I'm honored to be here and excited to learn from you all. As Zara stepped onto the station proper, she felt a slight disorientation as the artificial gravity took hold. The air had a crisp, clean scent with an underlying hint of something alien, not unpleasant, just different. Chancellor Silo gestured to the assembled group. Allow me to introduce some of your fellow students and faculty members. One by one, the aliens stepped forward to greet Zara. There was Professor Gloop, a gelatinous being that communicated through color changes and subtle vibrations. Zara's universal translator interpreted its greeting as a warm welcome, though the sensation of shaking pseudopods was decidedly odd. Next came Kest, an insectoid creature with iridescent wings and compound eyes that reflected Zara's image like countless tiny mirrors. Its mandibles clicked in what Zara hoped was a friendly manner as it welcomed her in a series of chirps and buzzes. As more aliens introduced themselves, Zara struggled to keep track of their names and species. There was Blorp, a levitating gas bag that communicated through pheromones, Saxenic, a silicon-based life form that looked like a sentient crystal formation, and Zira, a bioluminescent cephalopod-like being whose tentacles weaved complex patterns in the air as it spoke. And this, Chancellor Xylo said, indicating a small, furry creature that looked like a cross between a lemur and a sloth, is your assigned roommate, Fizz. Fizz blinked up at Zara with enormous, liquid eyes and let out a series of soft chirps that the translator rendered as, "Hi. I'm so excited to meet you. I've been studying human culture, and I have so many questions." Zara couldn't help but smile at Fizz's enthusiasm. "It's great to meet you too, Fizz. I'm looking forward to getting to know you." As the introductions concluded, Chancellor Xylo addressed the group. "Now, let us show Zara to her quarters and allow her time to settle in. Classes will begin tomorrow, and I'm sure you're all eager to learn from one another." As they made their way through the station's winding corridors, Zara marveled at the alien architecture. The walls seemed to be alive, pulsing with soft bioluminescence that adjusted to the optimal lighting conditions for each passing species. Gravity plates in the floor accommodated beings of vastly different sizes and weights, ensuring comfortable movement for all. Fizz scampered alongside Zara, chattering excitedly. "I set up our room with an Earth-standard atmosphere bubble for you," the furry alien explained. "I hope it's comfortable. Oh, and I've been practicing human customs. Would you like to engage in the social bonding ritual known as a high five? Zara laughed, charmed by Fizz's earnestness. Sure, let's high five. She held up her hand, and Fizz stretched up on its hind legs to gently tap Zara's palm with a tiny, fur-covered hand. As they arrived at their shared quarters, Zara's eyes widened in amazement. The room was a perfect blend of alien and familiar. One half was clearly designed for Fizz, with climbing structures and a nest-like bed. The other half contained a standard human bed, desk, and personal items that Zara had sent ahead. But it was the view that took Zara's breath away. An enormous window looked out into the vast expanse of space, offering a panoramic view of swirling nebulae and distant galaxies. "Welcome home," Fizz chirped, gesturing proudly around the room. Zara set down her bags, a lump forming in her throat as the reality of her situation finally sank in. She was light years from Earth, about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. "Thank you, Fizz," she said softly. "I think I'm going to like it here." As Zara began to unpack, a chime sounded, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the room. It showed a three-dimensional map of the university, highlighting various important locations. "Attention new students," a computerized voice announced. "Please review the orientation materials and familiarize yourselves with the station layout. Your class schedules have been uploaded to your personal devices. Remember, GUSA is a place of learning, discovery, and interspecies cooperation. We expect all students to approach their studies and interactions with open minds and respect for diversity." Zara sat on her bed, scrolling through the orientation materials on her tablet. The sheer variety of courses available was staggering. Introduction to Xenobiology, practical applications of faster than light travel, comparative galactic cultures, and basics of psionics for non-psionic species were just a few of the intriguing titles. As she read, Zara became aware of a subtle vibration in the air. She looked up to see Fizz engrossed in what appeared to be a levitating, multidimensional puzzle. "Oh, sorry," Fizz exclaimed, noticing Zara's attention. "I forgot humans can be sensitive to certain energy frequencies. I'll adjust my study aid." The vibration ceased, and Zara smiled gratefully. "No problem. That puzzle looks fascinating. What are you studying?" Fizz's eyes lit up. "It's a primer on 11-dimensional mathematics, crucial for understanding the basics of wormhole generation. Would you like me to explain it to you?" Zara's head spun at the mere thought. "Maybe another time," she said diplomatically. "I think I'll need to start with some more basic courses first." As the artificial day cycle began to dim, simulating evening, Zara felt the weight of her journey catching up with her. She yawned, stretching her arms above her head. Fizz, noticing Zara's fatigue, dimmed the lights on her side of the room. "You should rest," the alien said softly. "The first day of classes can be overwhelming, especially for someone so far from home." Zara nodded gratefully. As she prepared for bed, she couldn't help but feel a pang of homesickness. Earth seemed impossibly far away, and the magnitude of what she had undertaken suddenly felt daunting. As if sensing her mood, Fizz approached cautiously. "Zara, in my culture, we have a tradition of sharing a comforting gesture with friends who are feeling uncertain. May I?" Curious, Zara nodded. Fizz gently placed a furry paw on Zara's hand, and suddenly, a wave of warmth and reassurance washed over her. It wasn't telepathy, exactly, but a profound sense of empathy and understanding. "Thank you, Fizz," Zara said, her voice thick with emotion. "That really helps." As Zara drifted off to sleep, the stars outside her window seemed to twinkle with promise. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but also incredible opportunities. She was at the forefront of human exploration, a bridge between her species and the wider galactic community. With that thought, Zara Chen, the first human student at the Galactic University of Sciences and Arts, fell into a deep sleep, dreaming of the wonders that awaited her in this brave new world of intergalactic academia. Cultural clashes. The first day of classes dawned with a symphony of alien sounds. Zara awoke to find Fizz already up and about, its fur glowing softly in various patterns that seemed to correspond to its morning routine. "Good morning, Zara," Fizz chirped. "Are you excited for your first day of classes? I've prepared a traditional Earth breakfast for you." Zara sat up, rubbing her eyes, and was presented with a bowl of something. It was vaguely cereal-shaped, but the milk was a swirling, iridescent liquid that seemed to change colors as she looked at it. Thanks, Fizz," Zara said, trying to hide her apprehension. "What exactly is this?" Fizz's eyes widened with pride. "It's my attempt at your Fruit Loops. The milk is a nutrient-dense plasma that adapts to the consumer's dietary needs. Go on, try it." Steeling herself, Zara took a tentative bite. To her surprise, it wasn't bad at all. The cereal crunched satisfyingly, and the milk tasted like a pleasant mix of fruits she couldn't quite identify. "This is actually really good," Zara said, genuinely impressed. "Thank you, Fizz." As they made their way to their first class, Introduction to Xenobiology, Zara marveled at the diverse array of beings filling the corridors. Some floated, some slithered, some moved in ways that defied her understanding of physics. The classroom itself was a marvel of adaptive technology. As students entered, their seats morphed to accommodate their unique physiologies. Zara found herself next to a being that looked like a sentient cloud of gas, contained within a shimmering force field. Professor Gloop, the gelatinous instructor Zara had met the day before, oozed to the front of the room. Its body rippled with patterns of light that the students' translators interpreted as speech. "Welcome, class," Gloop's melodious voice echoed in Zara's ears. "Today, we'll be discussing the fundamental principles of life across the galaxy. Can anyone name the 5 basic criteria for defining a life form?" Zara's hand shot up, eager to make a good first impression. Professor Gloop's surface rippled in acknowledgement, and Zara began to speak. "On Earth, we define life as having these characteristics: cellular organization, metabolism, homeostasis, growth, reproduction, and response to stimuli," Zara recited confidently. A ripple of what sounded like laughter echoed through the classroom. Zara felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment as she realized she'd said something wrong. Professor Gloop's body pulsed soothingly. "An excellent answer, from a Terra-centric perspective, Zara. However, in the wider galaxy, we've had to expand our definition of life considerably. For instance, how would you classify a silicon-based intelligence that exists as pure energy? Or a hive mind spread across multiple planets?" Zara sank lower in her seat, feeling woefully unprepared. The gaseous being next to her emitted a series of gentle pulses that her translator interpreted as, "Don't worry. We all start somewhere." As the class progressed, Zara's head spun with new information. The sheer diversity of life in the galaxy was staggering, challenging everything she thought she knew about biology. After class, as Zara was gathering her things, she overheard a group of alien students talking. "Can you believe they sent a human?" one chittered. "Their species has barely mastered interplanetary travel. How do they expect to keep up?" "I heard they still use verbal communication as their primary means of exchanging information. How inefficient," another chimed in. Zara's shoulders slumped as she hurried out of the classroom. She knew she was here as a representative of humanity, but at that moment, she felt very small and very alone. The next class, Practical Applications of Faster-than-Light Travel, proved even more challenging. The mathematics involved was so advanced that Zara could barely follow the basic principles. When the instructor, a being that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, asked her to solve an equation on the holoboard, Zara froze. I'm sorry," she stammered. "We haven't covered anything like this in our physics classes on Earth." The instructor's multiple appendages waved in what Zara hoped was a gesture of understanding. "Yes. I forgot that your species is still bound by linear time perception. Perhaps we should start with some remedial temporal mechanics." By lunchtime, Zara was feeling thoroughly overwhelmed. She made her way to the cafeteria, a massive space filled with a dizzying array of food stations catering to the dietary needs of hundreds of different species. As she stood in line, tray in hand, she realized she had no idea what any of the food was or whether it was safe for human consumption. The being behind her, a towering insectoid, clicked its mandibles impatiently. "Excuse me," Zara said timidly to the cafeteria worker, a multi-armed being with eyes on stalks. "Is there anything here that's, Earth-compatible?" The worker's eye stalks swiveled towards her, blinking in rapid succession. "Earth. Oh yes, the new protein-based oxygen breathers. Let's see." It rummaged through some containers before producing a gelatinous cube that pulsed with an inner light. "This should meet your nutritional needs without causing any adverse reactions." Zara took the cube gingerly, thanking the worker. Finding an empty table, she sat down and poked at the pulsing food with her utensil. Just as she was working up the courage to take a bite, a familiar voice chirped nearby. "Zara, there you are." It was Fizz, scampering towards her with a tray balanced precariously on its head. "How were your morning classes?" "Oh, I see you got the standard Nutri-Cube. Here, try some of my lunch. It's much more interesting." Before Zara could protest, Fizz had deposited a variety of strange-looking morsels onto her tray. Some were moving slightly, others emitted soft glows or gentle humming sounds. "Fizz, I appreciate it, but I'm not sure if I can eat any of this," Zara said, trying not to sound ungrateful. Fizz's ears drooped slightly. "Oh, I'm sorry. I got excited and forgot about your dietary restrictions. But don't worry. I've been studying human cuisine. Watch this." To Zara's amazement, Fizz began manipulating the food on her tray. Its tiny paws moved with incredible speed and precision, reshaping and combining the various alien dishes. Within moments, Fizz had created something that looked remarkably like a cheeseburger. Zara gasped, incredulous. Fizz beamed with pride. "I used protein resequencing techniques to reconfigure the Nutri-Cube into a form more familiar to you. The cheese is a nutrient-rich biofilm, and the bun is made from compressed atmospheric spores. It should be perfectly safe and nutritious for you." Touched by Fizz's thoughtfulness and too hungry to be overly cautious, Zara took a bite. The taste wasn't exactly like a real cheeseburger, but it was surprisingly close and undeniably delicious. "Fizz, this is amazing," Zara said, her mood lifting for the first time that day. "Thank you so much." As they ate, Fizz chatted away about its own classes and experiences. Zara found herself relaxing, grateful for her roommate's friendship and kindness. Their lunch was interrupted by a commotion at a nearby table. A group of students were engaged in what appeared to be a heated argument, their translators struggling to keep up with the rapid-fire exchange of alien languages. "What's going on?" Zara asked, concerned. Fizz's ears twitched as it listened. "Oh, it's a debate about the ethics of terraforming. The Axylons believe it's their right to reshape uninhabited planets to suit their needs, but the Gax Collective argues that all planets have potential for life and shouldn't be altered." Zara listened, fascinated. The debate touched on issues of ecology, philosophy, and interstellar politics that made her realize just how limited her Earth-centric education had been. Suddenly, one of the arguing aliens turned to Zara. "Human, your species has a history of reshaping your own planet. What is your stance on terraforming?" Put on the spot, Zara felt a moment of panic, but then she took a deep breath, remembering why she was here. This was her chance to learn, to engage, to represent humanity in this grand interstellar exchange of ideas. "Well," she began cautiously, "on Earth, we've learned the hard way about the dangers of drastically altering environments. But we've also seen the benefits of carefully managed ecosystem restoration. Maybe there's a middle ground. A way to adapt to new planets without completely reshaping them." The aliens fell silent, considering her words. Then, to Zara's surprise, they began to nod, or make their species equivalent gestures of agreement. "An interesting perspective," one of them said. Perhaps there is wisdom in finding balance between progress and preservation. As the debate continued, now with Zara actively participating, she felt a surge of confidence. Yes, she had a lot to learn, but she also had unique experiences and viewpoints to contribute. The afternoon classes went more smoothly. In comparative galactic cultures, Zara found she could actively participate, sharing insights about Earth's diverse societies and learning fascinating details about alien civilizations. As the day came to a close, Zara made her way back to her room, her mind buzzing with new knowledge and experiences. She felt exhausted, but also exhilarated. The challenges were immense, but so were the opportunities. Fizz was already there, working on some sort of holographic homework assignment. "How was the rest of your day?" it chirped. Zara flopped onto her bed with a sigh. Overwhelming. Terrifying. Incredible. She looked out the window at the star-filled expanse of space. "I've got so much to learn, Fizz, but I'm starting to think I might have some things to teach too." Fizz's fur rippled with patterns of agreement. "That's the beauty of TUSA, Zara. We all learn from each other. Together, we expand the knowledge of the entire galaxy." As Zara prepared for bed, she thought about the day's ups and downs. The cultural clashes had been challenging, but they had also opened her eyes to new possibilities. She was no longer just a student from Earth. She was becoming a citizen of the galaxy. With renewed determination, Zara set her alarm for the next day. There was a whole universe of knowledge waiting to be discovered, and she was ready to face it head-on. Weeks had passed, and Zara was finally starting to feel at home at GUSA. Her friendships with Fizz and other alien students were growing stronger, and she was making progress in her classes. However, their peaceful routine was about to be shattered. One day, during a lecture on advanced astrophysics, alarms began blaring throughout the station. The holographic displays flickered to life, showing a massive gravitational anomaly approaching GUSA at an alarming speed. Chancellor Zio's voice echoed through the corridors. "Attention all students and faculty. We are facing an unprecedented cosmic phenomenon. A rogue black hole has veered off its predicted course and is heading straight for our sector. We have limited time to evacuate or find a solution." Panic spread through the station. Some species were more susceptible to gravitational changes than others, and the approaching black hole was already causing distress among the more sensitive beings. In the chaos, Zara found herself drawn into an impromptu crisis meeting with a group of senior students and faculty members. Professor Glut was attempting to explain the situation. "The black hole's trajectory is erratic, the gelatinous being pulsed. Our standard evacuation protocols won't work. We can't predict where it will be safe to flee." Zara's mind raced. Her Earth education seemed primitive compared to the knowledge of her peers, but perhaps. "What about using the black hole itself?" she suggested hesitantly. All eyes, and other sensory organs, turned to her. "On Earth, we theorized about using the gravitational fields of black holes for faster-than-light travel. Could we somehow harness its energy to move the entire station to safety?" There was a moment of stunned silence, then a flurry of excited discussion. Zara's seemingly simple suggestion had sparked an idea. With a combined knowledge of multiple species, they began formulating a daring plan to save GUSA. As the black hole drew nearer, teams were hastily assembled. Zara found herself working alongside beings of incredible intelligence and capabilities, each contributing their unique skills to the effort. The plan was audacious. They would use GUSA's massive power core to generate a controlled wormhole, using the black hole's gravitational field as a slingshot to propel the entire station to a safe location across the galaxy. As the countdown began, Zara held her breath. The station shuddered as unimaginable energies were channeled through its systems. For a terrifying moment, it seemed as though they had miscalculated. Then, in a blinding flash of light and a sensation of impossible movement, GUSA vanished from the path of destruction, only to reappear light years away, safe in a new sector of space. As the cheers and expressions of relief echoed through the station, Zara realized something profound. In this moment of crisis, it wasn't advanced alien technology alone that had saved them. It was the combination of diverse knowledge, the willingness to consider unconventional ideas, and the strength found in cooperation. For the first time, Zara truly felt like she belonged in this grand galactic community. Together, they had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. Unlikely alliance condensed. In the days following GUSA's dramatic relocation, the atmosphere on the station had changed. The shared experience of facing a cosmic crisis had broken down many of the barriers between species. Zara found herself at the center of this new dynamic, her role in formulating the escape plan having earned her the respect of both students and faculty. Chancellor Xylo called an assembly to address the entire university population. The Chancellor's form shimmered with barely contained energy as it spoke. Recent events have shown us the true value of our diversity. Xylo's melodious voice resonated through the grand hall. It was the unique perspective of our human student, combined with the knowledge and skills of many species, that saved us all. But our challenges are not over. A holographic display materialized, showing GUSA's new location in an uncharted sector of the galaxy. We find ourselves in unknown space, far from our usual support systems. We must work together not only to continue our mission of education, but also to explore and understand our new surroundings. Zara felt a mix of excitement and apprehension as Chancellor Xylo announced the formation of special task forces to address their new situation. To her surprise, she was asked to lead one of these teams, focusing on adapting Earth exploration techniques to that alien environment. Over the next few weeks, Zara worked closely with a diverse group of aliens, each bringing unique abilities to their mission. Fizz's species' natural affinity for pattern recognition proved invaluable in analyzing stellar data. Kirst, the insectoid student, could perceive radiation spectrums invisible to most other species, helping identify potential hazards in nearby star systems. Their first major challenge came when they discovered a nearby planet showing signs of pre-industrial alien life. The debate over whether to make contact was heated, with different species having vastly different protocols for such situations. Zara found herself mediating between factions, drawing on Earth's history of cultural exchange, both its successes and its tragic mistakes. We have an opportunity here, she'd argued, to learn from all our species' histories and find a way to approach this new civilization responsibly and ethically. Her words struck a chord, and soon a carefully planned first contact mission was underway. Zara marveled at the incredible sight of representatives from a dozen advanced alien races working together to peacefully introduce themselves to a young civilization. As the mission unfolded, Zara reflected on how far she had come. She was no longer just a student struggling to fit in, but an integral part of this interstellar community. The unlikely alliance forged in crisis had blossomed into something remarkable, a true melding of diverse cultures and knowledge. One evening, as Zara sat with Fizz and several other alien friends, watching the unfamiliar stars through GUSA's observation dome, she felt a profound sense of belonging. "You know," she said softly, "back on Earth, I always dreamed of exploring the universe. But I never imagined it would be like this. Not just seeing new worlds, but being part of something so much bigger than myself." Fizz's fur rippled with patterns of affection and agreement. That's the true purpose of GUSA, Zara. Not just to learn facts and figures, but to bring the galaxy together, one student at a time. As they sat there, this unlikely group of friends from across the cosmos, Zara knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and they were ready to explore it as one. A new understanding. 1 year had passed since Zara's arrival at GUSA and the incredible events that followed. The station hummed with activity as students and faculty prepared for the annual Galactic Cultural Exchange Festival. Holographic displays showcased art, music, and scientific achievements from hundreds of worlds, including a proud exhibit from Earth. Zara stood before a podium, facing an auditorium filled with beings from across the known universe. As the first human to graduate from USA, she had been asked to give a speech at the festival's opening ceremony. Taking a deep breath, Zara began, her words translated into myriad languages and thought forms. Friends, colleagues, esteemed beings of all kinds. A year ago, I arrived here as a stranger in a vast, unknown cosmos. I was just one human, unsure of my place among the stars. But you welcomed me, challenged me, and together, we faced dangers I could never have imagined. She paused, looking out at the sea of diverse faces, appendages, and energy forms. What I've learned here goes beyond any textbook or lecture. I've learned that the true strength of the universe lies not in our individual abilities, but in our capacity to come together, to combine our unique perspectives and skills in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Zara gestured to her friends in the front row, Fizz, Kest, and others who had become as close as family. Look around you. Every being here represents a unique way of perceiving and interacting with the cosmos. It is this diversity that allowed us to survive a brush with a black hole, to make peaceful first contact with a new civilization, and to push the boundaries of science and culture every single day. Her voice grew passionate, filled with hope for the future. As we move forward, exploring this uncharted sector of space and continuing our mission of education, let us remember this: we are stronger together. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to forge connections across the vastness of space and the divisions of species. Zara's eyes shimmered with emotion as she concluded. I came here to learn about the universe, but what I found was a family, a galactic community united in its quest for knowledge and understanding. As we celebrate our diversity today, let us also celebrate our unity. For in this grand cosmic dance, we are all partners, all teachers, and all students. As Zara finished, the auditorium erupted in a cacophony of cheers, whistles, light displays, and pheromone releases, each species expressing their approval in their own unique way. Later, as Zara stood with her friends, watching the swirling colors of a nearby nebula through the observation dome, Fizz spoke up, its fur glowing softly with patterns of contentment. You've come a long way, Zara, we all have. Who knows what wonders we'll discover next? Zara smiled, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Whatever comes, we'll face it together. After all, we're not just classmates or colleagues anymore. We're explorers, diplomats, and guardians of knowledge. We're the future of the galaxy. As if in agreement, a shooting star streaked across the vista before them, a fleeting reminder of the endless possibilities that awaited in the vast, beautiful universe they called home.